What's up, everybody? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Locrian entitled Return to Annihilation. This is released on Relapse Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Chicago, Illinois, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very lurking, dark, bleak style of drone mixed with some elements of noise rock and post rock with many different other influences to be heard. Post metal, black metal, electronic, krautrock even. Just a huge smorgasbord of musical styles. These guys have been at it for quite a while now, and I want to say that last year was definitely, in my opinion, a breakout year for them. And that breakout being the collaborative album that they did with Mammofer entitled Bless Them That Curse You. I thought that album was one of the finest pieces of musicianship and artistry to come out in 2012. Just some incredible, beautiful music, but yet at the same time it's very crushing and heavy in its own right. And of course, there was also the release of the collaboration with Horseback entitled New Dominions, which was an early release, but then it got pressed to CD. So that was pretty awesome. And then, of course, you have this band's earlier material, like the stuff I'm familiar with, like The Crystal World and The Clearing. I thought The Clearing was just fantastic. I loved everything about it. I own the vinyl version, but I understand that Relapse did a CD reissue of that plus the final Epoch last year. So, yeah, these guys have been consistently on a roll making great music. Now we have their fourth full length. I want to say this is their fourth full length, entitled Return to Annihilation. It's 7 tracks, and it clocks in at around 50 minutes in length. And there's going to be a lot to take in once you listen to this album. You're going to be taken for a lot of twists and turns. It feels like you're entering one of those old school style black and white noir pictures where you think you know what's going to happen, but then you get thrown for a curveball. You get thrown into some twists and turns that you don't see coming. And there is definitely a lot to love about this new Locrian effort, and I definitely think this is probably the best full-length album that they've put out since The Crystal World, in my opinion. The guitars on this album definitely have the most stories to tell here, because they range from being very dirty, powerful, and heavy. You hear an almost bit of that low-end kind of vibe once you hear the guitar work. I think it's sensational the way everything is being played here. Like the first couple of tracks, Eternal Return, where it just sets the mood off properly. It sounds very heavy and it sounds nasty. Then things get a little bit calmer with the track Two Moons. Things start to get a little bit calmer from there, but yet the heaviness still exists. And it's like that throughout the entire course of this record. That's where you hear a little bit of an almost blackened black metal kind of vibe, blackened drone, so to speak. That's where the guitar playing is very key, and I think it's a very important aspect of this album's delivery. The drums on this album are just fantastic. I just love their pace. Very complex in a way. Minimalistic at certain aspects. Like, take the track A Visitation from the Wrath of Heaven. Things start off, for the first several minutes of the song, it starts off very patient, very low-key. And then when you get to the 6-minute mark, the power of that song starts to hit. And the drums definitely do showcase themselves on that track. Even going back to the guitar work on there, it is amazing. Even to the multi-layered kind of songs, because there are 2 tracks on this album that are definitely lengthy and have multiple layers to them, like the title track and the 15-minute long closer, Obsolete Elegies. Just some really amazing drum work to be heard on those tracks, and it's definitely mind-blowing, the stamina that this guy has, this drummer has, and it's definitely amazing. Um, Not to mention the little inclusions like the keyboards, the moogs, the mellotrons. They are definite factors throughout this entire record, and it's not one least bit distracting. That's what makes Locrian sound like Locrian. Just the inclusions of the dark sounds and atmospheres. It is insane. Um, Very, very beautiful sounding stuff. Even the inclusion of the uh, the violin that appears on Obsolete Elegies. And I should also mention, I mentioned this band has a black metal kind of vibe. You definitely pick that up on the track Obsolete Elegies. Towards the very closing moments of that track, it almost verges into a more traditional kind of black metal vibe going on with that track. It's something very special. And vocal-wise, the vocals are very far and in between because this is mainly an instrumental kind of band. But when you do hear vocals, the vocals are something very powerful and very meaningful. This guy almost has a Mick Bar quality to his screaming. The wails in his voice. It's just very powerful, like on Eternal Return and uh, I want to say, yeah, Eternal Return and the Return to Annihilation and Obsolete Elegies. Just some great vocal work to be heard on those tracks, and some really top-notch lyric writing, too. Um, so overall, this is a lot to take in, and if you are into this band's prior collaborative works or their past full lengths, you will enjoy everything about Return to Annihilation. I think this is an amazing record. It's beautiful from first track all the way to last, but it definitely maintains the heaviness all the way throughout. Yeah, so I'm going to leave you a link in the description box to the Locrian Bandcamp where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, be your own judge, buy it digitally if you want to. It is available in most stores nationwide. Buy it from Relapse, buy it from your local record store, demand it however you can. Again, the album is Return to Annihilation by Locrian. This is released on Relapse Records. Support this band, and I'm going to give this a very strong 8.5 out of 10. Amazing record. Locrian are amazing at what they do, so support Locrian. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Armio out.